The sole purpose of this video is to provide a basic overview and orientation of your new apparatus. This video is not intended to act as or replace individualized driver-operator training. Individual fire departments may base guidelines, policies, and procedures tailored for best practices. Pierce Manufacturing and Hughes Fire Equipment representatives are not liable for injuries caused from acts resulting from actions inconsistent with the information provided within this video and/or accompanying manuals. Refer to the Operation and Maintenance Manual for complete details relating to the components and features of this apparatus. Only trained personnel should operate this vehicle or perform maintenance. You are responsible for learning how to operate this fire apparatus under all conditions without having to refer to the manual while operating at an emergency incident. This video will discuss types of warnings and caution labels. It is your responsibility to locate and identify each of the labels and understand the importance and associated hazards. Warning labels will point out procedure that must be taken or action that must be avoided to guard against the possibility of serious injury or death. Caution labels will advise you that there is a risk of damage to property if certain precautions are not followed. Continuous training, reviewing of operation and service manuals, developing good standardized practices will assist driver operators with a more complete understanding of the components and operation of this fire apparatus. As the driver operator of this vehicle, you are responsible for understanding the function of each component of the apparatus, maintaining control of the fire apparatus at all times while in operation. Make operational and functional changes while operating at an emergency without having to read operator's instructions or safety warning labels. Operate manual override and emergency shutdown procedures immediately if a component fails to operate properly. Components location may vary with each Pierce fire apparatus. Review the exact location of each component prior to operation. Major inconsistencies between your vehicle and the information contained in this video should be directed to your sales representative. Safe operation of any vehicle is the responsibility of the driver operator. You must learn the location and function of all controls, switches, gauges, valves, inlets, and discharges. Due to a higher center of gravity, heavy trucks have a significantly higher rollover tendency than other types of vehicles. To reduce the risk of rollover, avoid making sharp turns, excessive speed, and avoid abrupt maneuvers. In the event of a rollover crash, an unbelted person is significantly more likely to become injured or die than a person wearing a seatbelt. In the event of a crash, unbuckled occupants can also become a hazard to other occupants, as they may be thrown around inside the cab. Seatbelts are required while in operation. Please refer to your warranty certificates for details and information enclosed in your manuals. Customer-installed equipment must be mounted to withstand road travel and comply with NFPA 1901. Modifications such as drilling holes or welding to structural frame components of the chassis are not permitted. Contact Pierce for instruction and review of non-structural sheet metal or other dissimilar metals for modification. Follow the radio installation guide for further assistance on installing or mounting electronics. Before placing your new apparatus into service, perform a primary inspection of key components of the apparatus, including all fluid levels, anti-lock braking systems, electronic stability control, and automatic traction control. Weigh your apparatus to ensure that it conforms to axle and brake ratings. Never exceed the gross axle rating printed on the label inside the cab. Exceeding these ratings could lead to reduced component life, personal injury, or death. Review the use of auxiliary braking systems, compression brake, exhaust brake, electronic retarder, and hydraulic retarder. Before placing the apparatus in service, refer to the operational maintenance manuals. Information on the operation and maintenance functions for the components such as the pump, pressure governor, and foam systems, along with other options, is provided in either the Pierce manuals and/or other manufacturer support information delivered with the apparatus. If you need more information, please contact Hughes Fire Equipment. Congratulations, East Pierce Fire and Rescue Washington, on your new Pierce Fire apparatus, job number 42539. Please utilize this 5-digit job number when referencing your apparatus with Hughes Fire Equipment and Pierce Manufacturing. We'll get started on a brief orientation of your new apparatus. Starting first, just a front view of the apparatus. Then we'll start at the very top section, starting with a forward-facing floodlight located on the brow of the apparatus. Moving up to the 5 identification clearance lights. There are 3 located in the center and 1 on each outer edge. Up onto the roof, you'll find your emergency warning light bar. We'll move down to the hood section. This will be the access location for tilting the hood once the release on the right and left have been released. As we move to the front grille, you'll find 2 forward-facing emergency warning lights. Moving down into the bumper extension, you'll find a storage location for hose. Moving under the front of the bumper, you'll find a tow hook. These are 6,000 pounds direct pull and are not intended for towing. As we move further down, you'll find your electronic siren and PA speaker, along with your air horn. As we move over to the bumper extension side, you'll find a side-facing emergency warning light. Moving up onto the hood section, this is the air inlet for your engine. Moving now to the top of the fender, it's where you'll find your marker turn indicator. Moving to the headlight structure, low and high beam headlights and turn indicator. Moving to the lower section, this is an identification clearance light and also turning indicator. As we move to the front axle, you'll find Alcoa wheel and Michelin tires. Moving now to the door handle, where you'll find easily accessible with a gloved hand, in addition with a grab handle for entry and exit. As we move to the A-pillar, you'll find your convex and flat mirror. Moving down to the lower section to the step, you'll also find your diesel fill location located here. It is the silver cap for ultra low sulfur diesel. To the right of that location, you'll find the DEF fill location, which is the blue cap. You'll also find a fuel alert requiring you to use ultra low sulfur diesel. As we move inside the door panel, you'll find a fixed door panel, safety and warning placard information. Moving to the upper section of the door panel, you'll find your window control, door locks, and also mirror control. As we move to the lower panel, you'll find reflective striping. As we move just inside of the seat area, you'll find this yellow placard indicating the date of manufacture, 5-digit job number, gross vehicle weight rating, cold tire inflation, the vehicle's VIN number, and you'll also find all of the fluid capacity information for your vehicle. As we move just to the right of this location, you'll find a digital readout. When plugged into Shoreline Power, this will illuminate indicating battery status. Also, as we move to the floorboard, you'll find your master battery switch. It is a quarter turn. It's the red switch. Moving to the forward section, you'll find a foot pedal for your air horn. Now moving up onto the dash, you'll find this yellow placard indicating the height of the vehicle, which is 10 feet 1 inch, length of the vehicle, 32 feet 11 inches, gross vehicle weight rating, 56,000 pounds. If you make any adjustments, please update this placard. Moving down, you'll find the ignition on, off, and start switch. Moving now to the steering wheel. On the outer edge of the steering wheel, you'll find control modules. Moving to the center dash cluster, this is where your digital readout will be located. Information will also display in this regarding trouble and tally information. As we move to the very top section, there are a few switches here. First, let's start with the 4-way flashers and headlight and parking lights. Moving down, you'll find your air filter minder indicator. Moving further to the right, vehicle data recorder port. Further to right, we have some additional tally lights here and also your digital pump pressure readout. Moving just down from this location, you'll find your climate control for heat, air conditioning, and defrost. Further down to the switch panel, you'll find an engine fan and then also TC, which stands for traction control. Disable manual for your DEF regen switch. Moving further down, Pierce information, red indicating someone is in the seat and not belted, green they're in the seat and belted. Further to the right, you'll find your rear axle differential lock. Moving further down, your Allison transmission pad, and then just to the left of that location, the yellow diamond is the pull to apply air system parking brakes. These are the rear spring brakes. As we move just to the right, you'll find a 12-volt access, 120 volt. You'll also find in your center console between the driver and officer seat, these red candy cane labeled indicators here indicating warning that there is spare wiring behind the panel. Please do not remove until your maintenance personnel have had an opportunity to review. You'll also find at the very top section tally light information regarding pump engaged and OK to pump and OK for pump and roll. Red indicators for do not move the truck, low voltage, and also door open. We also have a 12-volt USB-A port, and then all of our labeled switches and also pump, PTO, and high idle. To the right, electronic siren and PA speaker module. To the very rear section, you'll find storage location for binders. To the very roof line at the very center, you'll find your backup camera monitor. And as we look to the exterior now, we'll start in with the pump panel, identifying a few items within this space. First, starting with the covered section here, which is where your cross lays are located for cross lay 1 and cross lay 2. Also in the gray module, your master pump discharge and master pump intake. Also test gauge ports for vacuum and pressure in between the two of those, cross lay 1 and cross lay 2. General layout here of your pump panel, it is color coded and labeled. You can see on the far left the front discharge and cross lay number 1. Moving just to the right, cross lay number 2 and deluge discharge. As we move just further to the right, you'll find a switch panel for your panel lights, also rear scene, left scene, and right scene. You'll find your minimum operation maintenance schedule along with an OK to pump tally light indicator. Moving further down, passenger side number 2, driver side number 1 discharge. Also FRC here, this is your pressure throttle governor, their instructions for its operation. Please see the owner's manual for more information. Water tank level indicator in the blue module located here. And also once again, the OK to pump indicator indicating you've successfully made the transition in the cab. Moving further down, also you'll find your engine cooler. That's a twist, not a pull. Just below that is the tank to pump. We also have a few warning placards located on the pump panel. Let's take a look at these. First warning, pressure hazard. Caps may be under pressure. Be cautious when opening them. Moving to the left, your fire pump primer. Priming instructions below that, 1,000 RPMs for best practices. As we move down, you'll find the 2.5-inch discharge with an elbow, and also a warning placard here regarding entanglement hazard. Moving just to the right of this location, you'll find the Pierce logo American flag eagle. This is your large diameter pump inlet. Also an additional warning placard here indicating pressure hazard. Moving further down, Shoreline Inlet, which is a 120 VAC 20 amp auto eject located here in the yellow cover. Moving down from this location, you'll find the air inlet, and then right next to the air inlet is where you'll find your master pump drain. We do have once again, some additional warning placards here indicating warning, only trained personnel should operate this piece of equipment. That's only after proper training. Let's move further down to the Watrous placard. You have a CXSSA, which is a 1,250 GPM pump. 2.5-inch auxiliary inlet, locally controlled at the ball valve here, female. Driver's side auxiliary inlet drain. Across the very bottom section, you'll find all of our color-coded and labeled drains. This is for driver 1 and number 3 on the driver's side. Minimum operation maintenance schedule is referred to earlier. Moving further down, this is a step light on the vertical surface. As we move to the exterior body section, as you can see up at the very top section, we have side-facing floodlights. There's one in the front of the body section, also one toward the rear of the body section. As we move into the compartment, we have an adjustable shelf located here. Inside the compartment on the left wall, you'll find 12-volt studs located here for power. Also, you'll find your auto charger. When Shoreline Power is plugged in, this will become active. Wheel chocks located, stored just under this compartment. To the front of the axle, you'll find a marker turn indicator light. Tandem axles, Michelin tires, and Alcoa wheel. Moving now in between the two axles, lift and turn latch will gain you access into this space for SCBA bottle storage for 2 bottles with retaining straps. Moving to the very upper section rear, side-facing scene light, side-facing emergency warning light, and a DOT light. To the rear of the axle, you'll find an M6 warning light. To the rear compartment, roll-up compartment door, inside you'll find LED lights for illumination inside the compartment. Let's move to the rear of the apparatus. Starting first in the upper corner, you'll find an emergency warning light. Let's move down to a couple warning placards indicating first warning, fall hazard, never ride on the vehicle while it's in motion. Additional warning placard here. When climbing on or off the vehicle, please face the vehicle. And at the very bottom, warning, entanglement hazard. Because the line's coming from aloft, there's the possibility of entanglement. On the outer edge, lift and turn latch. This gains you access into your rigid storage for hose for drafting tubes. Moving just underneath that, you'll find a cupped switch for your hose bed lights. License plate light and holder. And then also emergency warning, brake, turn, and reverse light. At the very top, there is a work light. At the very back of the running board, you'll find additional reflectors. There are 2 tow loops located at the rear, one on the passenger and one on the driver's side. Located in the very center, you'll find your backup camera. Moving toward the center lower section of the tank is where you'll find your swivel dump valve and also a direct tank fill. This is locally controlled here at the ball valve with a female coupling. Pierce logo, and then also additional lights here for steps. These are step lighting. As you move to the right side or passenger side, additional storage, rigid tube or drafting tube storage. Just underneath this door, you'll find a work light and then the cluster housing, emergency warning, brake, turn, and reverse light. Let's move around now to the passenger side of the vehicle. We'll start at the very top section where you'll find an emergency warning light and also side-facing scene light and DOT light. In the lower section, roll-up compartment door. Inside the compartment, you'll find LED lighting. Let's move just to the rear of the axle where you'll find an emergency warning light. Moving now to in between the 2 axles. Once again, Michelin tires, Alcoa wheel. SCBA bottle storage for 2 SCBA bottles with retraining straps. Moving forward to the rear axle, you'll find additional marker turn indicator light. Also, this warning placard indicating extremely hot diesel exhaust temperatures do exist, especially during regen operation. Be careful where you park your vehicle during regen operations. As we move into the compartment, you'll find a roll-up compartment door, adjustable shelf, and also LED lighting. Additional storage in this location. Also, lift and turn latch will gain you access into this area. In the forward section of the body, you'll find a side-facing scene light. And then also, as we point out here, this is also where your tank storage is located for your portable tank. Fold down steps for gaining access to go aloft. Grab handles at the midsection here for your cross lays. and then also crosslay 1 and crosslay 2. As we move down from this location, you have a access door. Lift and turn latch will gain you access into this space, along with a warning here regarding entanglement hazard because of the crosslay. Also a powered equipment rack control module. There are control operations here for lift and lower, also with some danger information. Information here regarding warning fall hazard when climbing onto the vehicle. Always face the vehicle. 2.5-inch discharge with a elbow. Additional access door. As we look into the access door here, this is the location for your pump relief valve. American flag Eagle Pierce logo, large diameter pump inlet. As we move toward the very bottom, warning here regarding pressure hazard. Once again, caps may be under pressure. Be cautious when opening them. You'll also find your manifold and primer drain located in the space, along with all of your color-coded and labeled discharge drains. Just underneath, you'll find additional ground lights. In the cab section on the passenger side window, you'll find a downward facing convex mirror, also a grab handle. When moving forward to that location, you'll find on the A-pillar your flat and convex mirror. Moving to the door panel, safety and warning placard information are affixed to the door panel, along with your controls for door lock and window control. As we move to the very lower section of the door panel, safety and warning placard information. At the very bottom, you'll find reflective markings. We'll go ahead and move inside the cab onto the officer side, where you'll find grab handles in the door panel area, and then A-pillar and at the rear. Foot pedal for your air horn, adjustable seat control located here for the officer seat. And then as we move forward, you'll find your glove box located just forward of the officer seat. 12-volt access. Moving now to the step area, you'll find LED lights in each of those step locations for safety. Under cab lights illuminating the cab step area. This is an LED light just underneath the lower section of the step to illuminate the ground area. As we move to the forward section, this is the air inlet for your engine. At the lower section, back of the fender, you'll find the release on the passenger and driver side for your hood. Also, turn indicator marker on the top section of your fender area. Michelin tires, Alcoa wheel. As we move to the headlight structure housing low and high beam headlight and a turn indicator. To the lower section, marker turn indicator light in the forward lower fender area. As we move to the bumper extension, side facing emergency warning light. Just on top of the bumper, you'll find a swivel discharge, and in the very center is the storage location for that hose. General view here of the vehicle. Congratulations, East Pierce Fire and Rescue Washington, on your new apparatus, job number 42539. If you have any questions regarding your vehicle, please contact your Hughes Fire sales representative. Thank you and congratulations.